Hello, welcome to Avio's Journey. Today I'm thrilled to talk to you about, more in depth on this idea of an approach to voiceover acting. When I was going to getting my bachelor's degree in theater and acting, and I learned a lot about the history of theater and performance and acting, and styles and coaches and commedia dell'arte, and Stanislavski, which born this method, or this belief of searching for truth through an inward dive to find realness, and I think in voiceover we don't have that sort of voiceover methodologies and history, because it all came from stage acting. Okay, as far back as time, right? So I think that, to me, I have kind of put together, in my mind at least, a different thought process to voice acting than stage acting, right? Because I did stage acting my whole life, and now I've been a voice actor for about 7 years. And in on the stage, you're given a role, and the idea is that you are going to rehearse this role, you're going to study this character, you're going to bring to life these words through a discovery that you go through, and that can either be done through a very methodical way, or it can be done through an improvisational way. But voice acting is quite different, because, right, the biggest difference in voice acting, which changes so much for us, is the time we get to perform. Right, so on stage, and I have to admit to you, I'm not a screen actor. I'm not I'm not a movie actor. I mean, I've made some short films, but I've never been like a big time movie actor. So I can't speak so much for the screen, but I can speak a lot, because I've done thousands of plays throughout my life, and you have time. Even in a rep theater, you're gonna get at least 2 weeks of rehearsal. Okay, and then there's and if you're not in a rep theater, you're probably going to get more than that. So there's time for you to work through discovering a character, right? Building it, making it. With voice acting, we get no time at all, right? I mean, we're given a script and we're like, go. I mean, you might be able to read it through a couple times, but you're expected to perform right there on the dot. So, in another form of performance for the stage, right? It's a improvisation, okay, and it's this idea that we are maybe even given a set of rules, or a framework, and then within that framework, we are to make it up on the spot. But the idea of improvisation, right, is that there's not a script. Again, you might have a framework, you might have rules. Everybody's seen, probably whose line is it anyways, right? But there's still some framework around that. But you don't have a script. So voiceover is so unique in the fact that you have no time to rehearse, okay? But you also have a script. So how do you then approach, through a methodology, right, on one hand, and improvisation on another hand, how do you approach that? And then to throw another huge wrench into our challenge with coming up with an approach to voice acting, is that the different genres really call for quite a different, like a large scope of acting, right? Because we have commercials, which is a very commercialized style of performance and writing. But then we have an audiobook, right, on the way other thing, where we're performing for hours, multiple characters, right? And then there's e-learning, right, where we're instructing, we're becoming teachers. There's podcasting, right, where we could be specific personalities, that's needed, right? There's video games, there's characters, there's so many different interesting things going on there. So I think that's one of those things where we have to be aware that there is such a scope that putting together a methodology has to focus on how do we create something, all right, through work that we put in. And you know what I mean? How do we create something through work that we put in, as well as being able to improvise on the spot because we have no time to do it. So what I've put together, or in my mind, is, and I didn't realize this when I first started, of course, because I didn't know what I was doing. I was just trying to do voiceovers. I was just trying to speak. But as time has gone on, and I've thought more about it and done work on it, is that we create, and sometimes we don't even realize we're doing it, but we end up creating these, you might have heard the term archetypes, all right, or these pre-built voiceover styles, these deliveries. It's become very popular to almost speak about them with these tones, all right? Things like conversational, things like authoritative, things like inspirational, enticing, intimate, these types of words that give us a picture of maybe how, like a personality, right? So I think if you take that, and in my mind, what I've done, or what I've and I have to admit, I need to like write a book on this or something, because I think it could be very beneficial to people, especially when if you're stepping up to a microphone and you're still confused every time you get in front of it. You're like, what do I do? You get a script, all right, and you're looking at it and you're like, okay, so I've got these words. Well, what am I supposed to do with them? You get some direction, but a lot of time the direction is so ambiguous, right? It's like, what do you bring? And then you'll hear things like, find your voice. Well, I think that I think that phrase needs to be, we've got to build a voice style. And then as we grow, we're going to build multiple voice styles. So the idea here is that through a methodology, and I'm a very physical voice actor. I'm a very physical actor because, as an actor, I did a lot of physical work. So a lot of what my performances were based on was physicality. And I love bringing physicality to voiceover, because an outward expression can bring out an inward belief. Okay, so doing these movements, even now as I'm teaching to you, I'm moving, I'm expressing through body movements, which you can hear in my voice. All right, if I wasn't so physical, you would hear differently. It would not sound as enthusiastic, or I would not sound as focused on what I'm trying to say. So I can create that type of character using those physical movements, okay? And then from that, I can then assign that pre-built character style based on physical movements and actions that I've assigned to them, right? That bring out internal emotions. We call it transference, where we are taking things that happened to us in the past, or events or emotional experiences, and we are transferring those experiences, those emotions, those feelings onto something else, okay, that we do not have those emotions or feelings for, right? Which is what acting is, right? It's heightened life, but it's imitation. All right, it's imitating. Look at my dog. She's like, what you talking about? What you talking about? I'm exhausted with all this. Anyways, sorry. But because of that gives us almost like a framework that we can work around to start to create characters. And when I say characters, I'm talking about your conversational character. I'm talking about your authoritative character. I'm talking about your, guy next door character, your tough character, your relaxed character, your over the top salesman character, any character that you can think about. I look at them as characters, because no matter what anyone says to you, I don't go around to my neighbor just talking to them like I do voiceovers. Even my conversational work, you know what I mean? Now, I think the idea of a conversational voiceover is more geared towards us being in that pitch of our voice where we are confident of speaking. We're not like, I'm not speaking like this in my higher pitched voice. Now, sometimes I do when I'm very emphatic about something, you know what I mean? But this is my confident type of voice style to talk in. It's how I normally talk. However, I'm adding excitement, I'm adding authority to my style, and a physical movement in a framework that brings out even more expression. And because of that, it adds so much more depth to a performance, if you will. So with all that being said, that's kind of the in my mind, this approach, this framework to voice acting, because it is a very challenging part of acting, right? Because of how I laid out, we don't have the time to take a script and explore and create a character, but we still have the script, and we don't have we can't be free to improvise because we have a script. So how do we combine those? And I hope that, kind of what I've explained today, and I definitely probably feel like there would be a lot more questions. How could we do this? How could we, start to put this to action? And I'm building that through an Academy Success course that I've been putting together for a while now, and I'm really excited about that. It should come out. I don't have a time frame, probably in the next couple of months or so, but that'll be a methodology to this whole thing, which I've never seen created ever in voice acting. So I'm really excited about it, and hopefully this video has helped. At least I've explained it somewhat. Please, if you are interested or want to learn more about this, hit the like and subscribe button. Also, if you'd like to learn more about this, I teach every Wednesday night and at a VO's Journey Elite Academy. There's a link below. You can check that out. We're offering 50% off the first month to give us a try. Like tonight, I'm going over nuances of voice acting and finding how to create those nuances through these styles that I've been talking about. So check that out. Also, there'll be a link below to check out VO's Journey Elite Voiceover Conference. It's October 13th through 15th. I'm really jacked about that because it's right around the corner. We have 20 speakers coming from all over. It's just going to be wonderful. It's a 3-day event, and check that out. There'll be a link below. But thank you guys so much for watching. You have a wonderful day. I hope this helped. Got your mind thinking. Take it easy. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.